How many times have you just slapped a reverb on an element in your mix and then immediately went back to focusing on your EQ, compression, and saturation? As mix engineers, we can often become over-focused on finding and fixing problems in our mix and miss something that phenomenal producers and legendary mix engineers know, which is that using a reverb isn't just about placing a sound in space, but rather designing a space that creates an environment for an emotional listening experience. So today, we're gonna hop inside the DAW and I'm gonna show you 5 different starting spots to create different types of emotion with reverb. So let's get into it. So see, every reverb is telling the listener where the emotion and performance exists. Your brain kind of imagines the story based around the effects that we use. And space is a very important part of the arrangement because it's not an effect, it's essentially an instrument. We can really start to do some fun, creative things and find a way to take our attention off just kind of going around and doing sterile EQ and compression, and again, build a mix. So when we are looking to design, a great reverb, we should really ask ourselves a few things. One, how should this lyric or vocal feel? The second thing we'd want to ask ourselves is how should the room behave? Should it breathe, feel like it's long? Should it feel kind of ugly? What are we looking for out of the room? The last thing is, are we really listening as an analyzer or are we listening with imagination? So today I've set up in the DAW a couple listening examples. Let's think of our intimate reverb as a stillness verb. This would be something that you would want to use if you're thinking, I want the vocal to feel like I'm beside you.
What is real? Do you mean well?
Now I'm going to show you the reverb that I built in, and I'm going to make it just a little bit louder.
What is real? Do you mean well?
So it's very short. It kind of hugs the vocal. And at the same point in time, it does give the vocal a little bit of body. So the first thing that we're going to use is a very, very short room. We're getting out the bottom and we are also cutting some top. I'm really trying to make this very tight around the vocal.
What is real?
I always like to put an EQ following. Now the EQ here, again, is reinforcing what the EQ one was doing, about 240 roll off and then about 2.5K. So we're really kind of focusing on the warmer part, but also the part of the voice that we hear well. So we're not looking to add any muddiness. Now the C3 works great because we can kind of see everything. So I'm actually sidechaining this. So you can see off here, I'm doing a bus 1 and then I'm coming in bus 1 and I have the external sidechain filter engaged.
What is real? What is real?
See how much cleaner that sounds? And the reverb is supporting the environment, it's supporting the vocal performance, and it feels with that sidechain like it's kind of hugging the vocal. Now, as you might have saw in my last video, I always say that we need to leave a slot for creativity. So for this one, I'm using a Studer tape machine to get some nice soft top, but also to get a little kind of grit and warmth out of this.
What is real?
So we get some soft top, but we also get a little bit of saturation. Some of those overtones are giving it a little bit more presence.
What is real? Do you mean well?
And here's the thing that's going to be the theme of all these ones that I show you. When you spend the time to really craft these and have some fun with them, they can become something that you can make a moment with. You can push this louder, find ways to use it creatively in your mix. However, for this, we were just looking to build something strategic that would help the vocal sit the proper way and create the proper emotional listening experience. But yet, when you really take time and get under the hood and build your effects, you can use them in a variety of ways during the course of a mix. So now let's move on and let's go to the next type of reverb that I call lonely. Let's think of building lonely reverbs like slow breathing reverbs, isolation.
Everything has been quite the same.
I mean, that just kind of makes your bones ache with loneliness. Let's first take a listen to the vocal with the reverb on.
Nothing has Nothing has been quite the same.
That's really cool. I mean, it just brings that to a whole other level emotionally. So how do we build an emotional reverb? I should have mentioned this in the first one, but I like to send pre-fader. Sometimes when a vocal is sent that way, you can get little extra dynamic bubble ups that can make the reverb respond just a little differently, which I like. Sometimes it can create happy mistakes. So we're going with a pre-fader send to a bus where we're going to build our reverb in stereo. And the first thing I do for this one, I put on a delay. I will have the vocal and the reverb going, and I'll play with the echo time and the feedback until it really feels like it's giving me a vibe that I'm looking for.
Nothing has been quite the same.
Then we're going to feed that actually into a reverb. I'm going with more of a vintage style here, so I'm staying with the 70s. A dirty plate. I liked it around 5 seconds of decay time, full mix, and then a big 52 seconds of pre-delay. So we're sending some of the bloom of the Echo Boy into this, but we're also not having everything hit with the dry vocal.
Nothing has been quite the same.
So see, it's all that trail that makes the loneliness. This is me kind of just coming up with the way that I hear sound and kind of link it to stories and things like that, but that's what it feels like. And then from there, same concept. I'm actually going to sidechain again because I just want to make sure it's nice and clean.
Nothing has been quite the same. Nothing has been quite the same.
I encourage you for like a fun slot. So say, what would it be like if we put the Brower motion on it? So something motion-wise.
Nothing has been quite the same.
I really like that. I might make a note of that and keep that on. Stagnation is presets, the sign of somebody who's just kind of placing a few things and then moving on with their life. Motion is energy. Motion is life in a mix. And that's a lot of times what we lack, is we lack that kind of sense of realness, the way things work in the real world, the way that we are, which is we're not stagnant beings. Our thoughts constantly change, our emotions change, and kind of being able to build that in your mix, it really creates this great human element that helps your sonic story feel alive.
I see what you did there.
So now let's go to one of my favorites, and this is one that I call nostalgic. We could consider that like a wobble verb. Now, this song is a song called Freedom Forever. I actually helped produce by another amazing artist. Really had some fun kind of leaning into like a Motown-y vibe.
It's clear the hypocrites left, right, and center. So from it all, I will just untether. Once I let go, I'll be light as a feather.
So same thing, it's going to be a pre-fader send. Let's hear the verb before I even explain anything, kind of cranked up. So it's going to be heavy in the mix.
It's clear the hypocrites left, right, and center. So from it all, I will just untether. Once I let go, I'll be light as a feather. So I'm doing this thing, I'm calling it freedom forever.
It feels like a voice from the past, right? So let's look at how to build this. I like this Arturia Mellify. You can put on any kind of tape that you have and just play with the wow or flutter. That's all I really did. And then from that, I sent it into a vintage verb. This actually is just kind of standard. So we're in like a concert hall. I didn't sidechain this one because I didn't want it to feel too clean because, you know, you listen to some of these older records and, you know, everything, they didn't have all the tools we have now. So everything wasn't, you know, perfectly processed. There was things that were smeary, and that's what I wanted here. And actually kind of just left most of this alone. It was like one of these, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think what makes this one special is after that, I went to a dual harmonizer. And again, you could build this on your own by just pitch shifting up one side, 1 cent, and pitch shifting down the other side, a cent. But what I did with this one, I played with the delays. On the top, the delay is around 118, and at the bottom, the delay is around 192.
It's clear they're hypocrites left, right, and center. So from it all, I will.
Now I'm going to bring this one down to the 118 and listen to how it kind of changes things.
It's clear they're hypocrites left, right, and center. So from it all, I will just untether. Once I let go, I'll be light as a feather, so I'm doing this thing I'm calling.
It throws off the balance when we have the delays moving a little differently. And again, it kind of ties into my previous point about motion feeling like life, and then also playing with the two different delays that will help offset that stereo to make us feel just a little bit unbalanced. Not seasick, but just to make it feel like we're in our head and we're kind of being pulled by the past. And then from there, it's more of like a phone filter, because again, that feels more symbolic to me of the way either effects were or things that make me feel nostalgic or thinking of the past. And now this is the fun part. I've adopted from like the Beatles and stuff like that, where, you know, it's kind of singing through a Leslie.
It's clear they're hypocrites left, right, and center, so from it all I will just untether.
So let's once again hear the song, and I'll move this to maybe a level that I feel is mix appropriate. Then I'll kind of boost it up.
So from it all I will just untether. Once I let go, I'll be light as a feather, so I'm doing this thing I'm calling it freedom forever. It's my time, I'm gonna get up and shine. I don't know much, but I know how to rhyme, and now I'm living life.
That's really fun, and it kind of feels really appropriate for the genre, the style of production, and we can use that in moments. We can kind of, in the verses, maybe pull it down, in the choruses, bring it up and have some fun, and we have another tool. It's about taking time and asking ourselves, like, what should the effect feel like emotionally? We have two more to go, and I'm actually going to use two different ones on the same song so you can hear how the different emotions actually impact the song. So I have one that I call epic. This is like hope, triumph, cinematic. We're thinking like U2, Imagine Dragons. So now let's listen to the epic vocal. I'm going to kind of boost this up louder than it would need to be. Hear that tail? Now, I'm going to play it again, and here's what I want you to pay attention to. When I take the epic reverb out, notice how all of a sudden the entire song feels really small. That's really wild, right? It feels like it's affecting everything. And that's something that when I do mix coaching, I do try to impress upon is like, we have to understand that it's an extra instrument and it's going to impact the spacing in the mix, the density of the mix, and we can use that to our advantage. But if we are completely blind to it,
several bad puns later,
then it could actually become a destructive force in our mix or do things that we're just completely unaware of. Like, we're an architect of this mix. We really want to be aware of everything that we're trying to build and do it with the most intentionality we possibly can. For this one, we're in a bright hall because we want bright, we want hope, we want triumph, right? Huge pre-delay here. And then just some basic EQ here. And then that's just going to kind of help us just kind of shape it a little bit. From there, we go into more shaping where I'm just getting out a little bit of mud because I definitely, with something that size, don't want this area kind of cluttering up the drums and stuff. And then just making sure that I'm reinforcing what I had. And then just having this on allows me, if I need to go in and make a custom EQ change as the mix evolves. From there, we are going to sidechain so that it's nice and clean. So we are fast attack, fast release. And then from here now is where we get into the fun stuff. So I went with the decapitator. It kind of serves as an EQ where it cleans it up a little bit and it gives that articulation area a little bit more bite to me. Have some fun with it, and this is kind of where I wanted to stop because I didn't want to overpower the mix with the decapitator. And then from there, it was just some stereo widening. Notice how it pushes kind of the tail and stuff out to the side. So it starts to kind of wrap around the vocal as opposed to feeling like it's kind of pushing through the same space the vocal is. So now let's go to one that I call energy. The energetic one, let's think of that as like a quick breathing reverb, right? It's movement, it's excitement, it's energy.
A perfume lingo seeps into your clothes.
That has an interesting tail too, right? It pumps a lot more than the other one did. It makes the vocal feel a little more forward, and then the little bit of tail we're getting has a different character, so it feels like it's putting us in a more edgy kind of space, like a higher energy space, where the epic one really made it feel a little more ballady. This one is making it feel just kind of a little bit more rock. Now, the first thing I put forward in this is a filter freak.
How sweet to whispers as you leaning close.
That sounds different than if I had the filter set here.
How sweet to whispers as you leaning close.
I wanted to stay around the area where we could hear the vocal the best cutting through this, as opposed to, say, creating mud or putting something up higher that might mess with the sibilance and then kind of make the vocal intelligibility a little challenging. After that, we go right to a reverb that is pretty standard, 24 milliseconds, a second decay, and I'm just on more of a contemporary sound as opposed to, say, a classic, and then followed by, again, something reinforcing that, and then just a little bit cutting of the harsh frequencies, because this vocalist really cuts through in this area. So since I'm creating a high energy reverb, I also didn't want that reverb to be reinforcing that and maybe running the risk of making the vocal feel kind of overly aggressive. And then that is just followed by, at this point, we can call it our utilitarian sidechain. That is a fast attack, a fast release so that the reverb pumps. If we went with a longer release, we'd get more of a controlled decay of the reverb, but we don't want that. We want more of an energetic breathing.
How sweet to whispers as you leaning close. How sweet to whispers as you leaning close. How sweet to whispers as you leaning close. How sweet to whispers as you leaning close.
So the next time you reach for a reverb, I want you to take some time and ask yourself, how can I use this tool to build the perfect emotional listening experience that really complements the emotion and vibe of the song and mix that I am trying to build? Okay, my friends, I hope you found these 5 starting spots useful. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments below. See you next time.